What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, back here for some real football. Premier League is back, and it is now non-stop Premier League football from now until the end of the season. The real business end. It's time to get forth off those Gooners, and it's time for a big win this weekend against Newcastle. As we welcome Newcastle to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, a team who we've never beaten at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, and it's time to get those 3 points, isn't it, Sim?
Yeah, and I hate having Newcastle come to our ground. Even at White Hart Lane, they have an exceptional record against us ever since 2013 when Tim Krul had that mad game where he made I think he still holds the record, doesn't he, for most saves in a Premier League game, and unless De Gea broke that. And ever since that game, I think we've won once at home, and that was when Harry Kane back in 2018 scored at Wembley. I don't think we've won at White Hart Lane. We haven't beaten them in N17 probably since 2013. Can I recall? That's quite unbelievable.
2013
in N17 because we beat them at Wembley. I don't think we beat them in N17 since 2013.
Mental.
When I don't remember, Bale scored a free kick, and
what you got to think about through that time, like how much of a bad time Newcastle have had of it as well.
Yeah, and every time they come to us, they seem to get a result somehow. I don't know how it happens. It's a remarkable record.
Yeah,
so really that's what probably gives us the most anxiety going into this game. But with the form we're on, I know Newcastle are playing very well. They've turned it around under Eddie Howe, but we're on very good form. So we have to be confident we can win this game.
Absolutely. The way we're going to structure today, we're going to have a preview with Newcastle Fans TV coming up in just a second. Then we're going to go through our match preview, and then it is your time to have your say on the game. A bit later, you're going to be getting the press conference. Antonio Conte, every word he has to say in preview to the game this weekend. But without further ado, let's get Johnny from Newcastle Fans TV on, and let's see what he has to say. Johnny, how are we doing today, my friend?
I'm very good. How are you, Stu?
Yeah, all good, mate. The sun is shining here in London. Premier League football is back, and it's time to finally give your team a beating for once. For once. How are you feeling coming into the game?
It's good. I think, to be honest, I think it's been a very, very long international break. I don't mind them occasionally, but oh my God, I think this one's just dragged. But look, I'm really looking forward to the game. I think Newcastle go in there full of confidence, like you've mentioned just at the top of the show. Spurs and Newcastle always seems to be an entertaining game, and we've been doing okay at Tottenham in the last few years. But yeah, Eddie Howe has transformed us and made it very difficult to beat. So I think it'll be a tough game for Tottenham on Sunday as well.
Yeah, it's going to be a very, very difficult game. Obviously, since you've had that massive injection of cash, there's been a lot of talk about Newcastle, what direction they're going in. There are people saying in a relegation battle, but Eddie Howe's gone on a 9-game unbeaten run to kind of calm those fears down. But how have you found the newfound riches so far?
It's weird. It's very weird. No, I don't think it's really hit any Newcastle fan yet. I think obviously we've had a couple of big name signings. Obviously, Kieran Trippier, former Tottenham player, did very well for the Spurs a few years ago, and Bruno Guimaraes, which I'm sure we'll mention a little bit later on. It is very strange. It is very, very strange. I think if Newcastle do stay up, I do think they will stay up, and if they do, the summer could be even crazier on Tyneside. But I'm enjoying it. I have to be honest. I'm enjoying it. I'd just like to see us out this relegation battle rather, and not have to talk about or fear about relegation and move up the table, because I think Newcastle can. I think they've got everything in us in terms of the players that we're trying to bring in terms of the manager seems to be doing well with the players that he's got at his disposal now. He's got better players potentially can move up the table as well. So everything's swimming along nicely in Tyneside. You know, it's really, really good. Everyone's got a smile on their face when you talk about Newcastle United. It wasn't necessarily the case even a year ago, to be honest.
Yeah, and I could see like all the smiles on Tyneside. I mean, me and Sim were just in Dublin over the weekend, and walking down the strip where I was on my stag do, and there were loads of different stag do's there, and we saw one where there was a group of about 10 lads. One of them was wearing like a big shake outfit, and behind them was about 9 lads all wearing Newcastle strips, and they were all having a brilliant time, and that kind of encapsulated the kind of vibe coming out of Tyneside at the moment. But when you're looking at Spurs, obviously it's been a very Jekyll and Hyde season for Spurs so far, but how do you kind of assess, from an outsider looking in, how are you looking at Spurs at the moment?
what a coup getting Antonio Conte, by the way. That's probably the best signing, if you want to call it a signing, this season, I think, because Nuno came in. I think a lot of Spurs fans were unimpressed with that decision to bring in Nuno. And as soon as Antonio Conte had his couple of months break and was ready to come back into football, Spurs pounced on him. You look at how well he's done so far. I think if it was any other manager, I don't think Spurs would really be in this battle. They've managed to get a fantastic partnership with Son and Kane, which they've always had, but he's even managed to improve that now. And if you've got Harry Kane and Son doing so well, you're going to be near the top of the table or near the top 4 contention for sure, because they're so good. For Tottenham, I think at the minute they're not favourites for the top 4, but I think they will finish in the top 4 because of the 2 players that were mentioned, and they've got the best manager out of the 3 teams that are really contesting it. I think Chelsea are too far away. I don't think West Ham Wolves are good enough for the top 4. So if you look at the other 2 managers, Ralph Rangnick and Mikel Arteta, I just think he's streets ahead. He's streets ahead tactically. And I think that game against Arsenal, whenever it gets rescheduled, whenever Arsenal decide that they want to actually play Tottenham this time, I think that will be huge.
Johnny, obviously, we mentioned it before about Eddie Howe was on an unbeaten run, but you have lost the last 2 games, only by 1-0. Do you think momentum is slowing down a bit, or do you feel like it's just 2 tough games and you're still, going the right direction in terms of performances?
Well, you mentioned 2 very different games. Everton, of course, trying to get points to stay in the division. I just think we were... What's the word? I just think we were a bit blunt going forward. I think it was just one of those games we just never looked like scoring. And Everton took their chance right at the end, and that can't happen. I think with the fact that Everton was so desperate, they were willing to take chances. I think the most disappointing aspect of that game was the fact that Everton were down to 10 men and we didn't capitalise. And I think you've got to have that killer instinct, really. And Newcastle, at that point, didn't show it. The Chelsea game, that little bit of magic can happen when you play one of the top teams. That ball by Jorginho in the touch and finish from Havertz, that can happen. So,
and you were robbed of a penalty, weren't you, in that game, weren't you?
Robbed of a penalty. Havertz probably shouldn't have been on the pitch as well. So it all adds up. But I'm not concerned. I think Eddie Howe is certainly the right man. He's certainly transformed Newcastle. And yes, he has had money to spend. But you look at the players we've brought in. Matt Targett, Aston Villa. He's been so consistent for Newcastle. Nothing less than a 7 out of 10 since he's been in. Dan Burn's been good since he's come in. Bruno's scored a fantastic goal. Chris Wood's taken a little bit longer for him to settle, but we have that focal point now. So, yeah, I'm very optimistic on Eddie Howe.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about Chris Wood, because when you made that signing in January, I thought it was a very clever piece of business from Newcastle. Not only were you getting a striker who gets, at least 15 Premier League goals a season, but you were also taking one away from Burnley, who at the time you were very close to in the league. But what's gone on with him, and why has he taken a bit longer than the others to settle in?
That's a good question. Really, really good question. Again, I agree. I think it was a very good bit of business. You strengthen yourself and you de-strengthen an opposition for relegation. He's only scored the 1 goal, but he has struggled to find the back of the net. And he had a couple of opportunities in the first couple of games that he played for Newcastle. And I think if he had got a goal earlier on, I think he might have got maybe 3 or 4 goals by now, and it wouldn't look as bad. But I suppose it's like any striker, you need a bit of form, and he has scored for New Zealand. I know it's New Zealand, I know it's internationals, but he has scored, I think, 4 goals for New Zealand in the last 10 days. So he might come into that game against Tottenham with a bit of confidence, and maybe he might be the difference. But I'm not disappointed with how he's done, because Newcastle have been winning games and he has contributed. So we'll just have to wait and see. Hopefully he can pick up his form again on Sunday.
In hindsight, would you have preferred to go for maybe a Wout Weghorst, who's come into Burnley? I mean, first few games he's looked really good, but also he has flattered to deceive maybe in the past couple of weeks as well.
I think you can look at the 2 and obviously I think you can compare them both very, very similar. The only difference is Chris Wood is Premier League proven. He was 1 and 3 let's be honest, at average Burnley side. He was 1 and 2 at Leeds in the Championship. So you can kind of expect him to be 1 and 3 after being 1 and 2 in the Championship. So I think it was sensible to go for Chris Wood. I think it would probably been a bit more of a gamble to go for Weghorst. But look, I think they are both very similar. They're probably got the same amount of goals and will end up with the same amount of goals at the end of the season. I just hope that Weghorst isn't playing in the Premier League and Chris Wood is.
Yeah, and how, in terms of this Newcastle project, how quickly you were thinking it's going to move? Are you looking at top 6 next season, top 4 next season? Obviously, considering you do stay in the Premier League, as it looks like it will happen this season, what are Newcastle fans' expectations going into next season, do you think?
Stay in the league this season, for sure. Next season, I think it's going to be very, very...
You're safe, Johnny, you're safe.
You can say that. I'll say the Spurs are adamant to get top 4. They guarantee to get top 4. No, I think in terms of next season, if Newcastle do stay, which I do expect them to do, I think it depends on what we do business-wise in the summer. If Newcastle really want to go for it and spend £200 million, they can, because we haven't spent a lot under when we were owned by Mike Ashley. So there is that scale up where Newcastle can spend a lot of money and won't be penalised by financial fair play. I think there is a plan behind it. I don't know if it is to go and spend £200 million this summer or to just to spend every transfer window and gradually build. And it might take, say, 3 to 5 years. But I would like to think that Newcastle, I think, top half would be have to be realistic. Maybe the Conference League would be maybe what would be a good, realistic objective. But you've got to remember the Premier League now is just so competitive. It's ridiculously competitive. And Newcastle are going to find it even harder to try and break into the top 7, the top 8, rather than the top 4, the top 6, because like teams like West Ham and Wolves, Leicester have had the moments as well over the last few years. They're so difficult to beat. They really, really are. And like, I think now you've got to be either Man City or Liverpool, pretty much winning every week to guarantee being in the top 4. It's that crazy now. So I walk before we run for Newcastle, but I do think that Newcastle will be competing for top 4 honours within the next 5 years if they do it right.
Wow. So obviously big game this weekend. Newcastle coming over to Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. How do you see the game going?
I think Newcastle can get something from the game. I think it just depends if we go 4 or 5 at the back. Fabian Schär's fit, according to Eddie Howe. So I would imagine... I wouldn't be surprised if Newcastle go 5 at the back. I personally would rather go 4 at the back and see how we get on. But I think if we go 5 at the back, I think both teams will try and look to counter-attack each other. I think Son and Kane have shown if they can get on the counter-attack, it normally ends in a goal. Newcastle, to get on the counter-attack, it's Alan St-Maximin. So he's very much a little jack in the box. You don't know exactly what you're going to get, but he has had a good season so far for Newcastle. So I think he is our key man. Ryan Fraser's shown a bit of form as well. So it's going to be tight, I think. But I think Newcastle can get something from the game if they can really contain Kane and Son, make it really, really difficult. I know you've mentioned Kulusevski on our channel. He's been a revelation since he's come to Tottenham, and it's going to be difficult to keep all 3 of them quiet, but we need to try and frustrate Tottenham as much as we can. And
what areas of the pitch do you think the game's going to be lost and won?
I think midfield. Midfield's going to be really, really important. Bruno Guimaraes, I think, will start for Newcastle. I think he can't drop him. I think you'll see... Newcastle fans are just starting to see he's just a level above what we've normally had. It's just whether it's going to be Bruno with Joe Linton, John Joe Shelby, Joe Willock or Sean Longstaff. If I had to put money on it, I'd probably say it'll be Bruno Guimaraes, Joe Linton and Joe Willock. That's what I think it'll be, but don't be surprised to see John Joe Shelby in that midfield because he has been an ever-present since Eddie Howe's walked through the door.
Yeah, Joe Willock will be in for a tasty reception on
I'm
Sunday.
Sure
that's for sure. That's for sure. But finally, let's get your score prediction.
I'm going to go 1-1. I think Newcastle can frustrate Tottenham. I think Joe Linton might get on the score sheet. He just loves playing Tottenham, doesn't he? So either a Joe Linton or a Joe Willock goal, I think I'd frustrate a lot of Tottenham fans, but I think Newcastle can get a point. I think we've shown that we've been in real good form. I think we've only conceded more than 1 goal. My God.
Is he gone?
Is he gone?
I think he just crashed.
Not sure what happened there. But he was saying that he thinks Newcastle will draw 1-1 this weekend with either a Joe Linton goal or a Joe Willock goal.
Yeah.
That won't be great if it's Joe Willock, that's for sure.
But yeah, look, I don't know if he's coming back, but thanks to Johnny for coming on. Go over to Newcastle Fans TV for good Newcastle content as well. Go and subscribe and show him some love. But yeah, thank you for the match preview, Johnny. Really, really appreciate it.
Exactly. Big up Johnny and big up Newcastle Fans TV. Like my brother said, go over there and subscribe to their channel. Hit that like button as well.
Just like if I'm going to read the home results we've had.
Oh, please don't.
Since that game against Tim Krul, we lost 1-0 in 2013. The next game we lost 2-1 at home in 2014. The next home game we lost 2-1 in 2015. The next home game we won 1-0. That was in 2018 at Wembley. Then the next home game we lost 1-0 in 2019. We then drew 1-1 last season, and now it's this season. So one win since 2013 at home to Newcastle. It's incredible. It's incredible.
Yeah, it's incredible. All right, well, let's get into our match preview now. Obviously,
just before that, quickly, some news. Harry Kane has won Player of the Month
hey!
for March.
Some more individual awards for Harry Kane.
And he now holds the record for most Player of the Month for any Premier League player ever.
Sing that.
Exactly. Who says he's going to be forgotten? But there you go. Well, congratulations, Harry Kane. 4 goals and 2 assists. So yeah, Player of the Month for Harry Kane. Very happy for him.
Big up, Kane. Did Conte get Manager of the Month?
I don't believe that's been announced yet.
It's probably Klopp, to be fair.
Yeah,
Klopp deserved it this month. But anyway, let's get into the match preview this weekend. Obviously, we got Newcastle at home in a big game in terms of the top 4 race for us. Arsenal go away to Crystal Palace on Monday night. So if Spurs can get a win here, and I think, what do we need to win by 2 goals? Or
2 or more goals, yeah.
2 or more goals does put us in the top 4 for the remainder of the weekend at least. How are you looking at this game coming in? Obviously, we've spoken about at length the kind of record Newcastle have coming to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, and it doesn't have good reading for Spurs. But what is it about Newcastle? Why do they always seem to get a result every time they come here?
It's nothing to do with anything special. It's nothing to do with a tactical setup or them being better than us. It's more often than not just pure luck. I think so many instances, for example, Tim Krul, that was a record number of saves in a Premier League match. I remember the next one when we lost 2-1, Sammy Amiobi, I think, scored 10 seconds into the second half, I remember. Literally straight from kickoff. I think it was the quickest goal in the second half ever. They then last season, last minute 1-1 when it was, we battered them all game. Carl Darlow had a great game and we should have won that, and they got a lucky draw. I remember one game where Mitrovic scored in the last minute when we probably should have won that one as well. That was a 2-1 loss. They've just got like a string of really lucky results against us at in N17. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Last season, dire handball. So I don't know. They just seem to do us over for some reason every time they come to our stadium, like just luckily. And you best be sure in the first half, if we've had a host of chances and Dubravka's had a mad game, that anxiety is definitely going to kick in.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, I think, like I say this every game, to be honest, but I think it's imperative for us to get an early goal once again, because it just forces Newcastle to have that bit more adventure going forward, and we can kind of pick them off a little bit. But with the kind of front line that we do have with Kane, Kulu, Son, Bentancur and Højbjerg behind them, and the wing-backs as well, surely we got to look to be on the front foot this game and really just take the game to them.
Yeah, of course. As Johnny mentioned before, they've been a lot more defensively solid since December. They haven't conceded more than a goal in any game since December, and that's very impressive considering where Newcastle were before then, where they were leaking goals left, right and centre. So they've definitely shored things up. Obviously, Dan Burn, Matt Targett. I know Trippier's going to be injured for this game, but him as well, coming into the team.
He's been brilliant since he come in, Trippier.
Yeah, but he's out. He's going to be out, yeah. So they've been really, really good for Newcastle, and they've really helped shore up that defence that was very, very leaky. So it's going to be difficult, but with the formation we play, and how well versed we are now with that formation, and how, and even in the games where we sometimes lose at Wolves and stuff, we're still creating good situations and good chances. So I think we're in a good position now to come into this game and really put pressure on Newcastle and use the wing-backs as much as possible. Use Kane, Son and Kulusevski wreaking havoc in the centre. The key will be Højbjerg and Bentancur being able to really physically dominate the guys in the centre, Bruno and Joe Linton, who are playing very, very well for Newcastle. If they can do that, then I really in no doubt that we'll be able to show our quality in the final third. And we have to make sure we take the game to them 100%. Although they're going to be more solid, if we can show early on that we have the ability to open them up and break them down, then they're going to be then if they're relying on their forward line, I think they're going to be sorely mistaken. I don't think their forward line is going to have enough to hurt us on a regular basis. They're going to have counterattacks and stuff to hurt us. I think we should have enough to keep them out going the other way. I believe that. So I think if we can open them up on a regular basis, that should be enough to win the game.
And looking at, this is the kind of predicted lineup we got. I mean, I do think that they probably will go for a 5 at the back, to be fair, in this game.
By the way, Howe's just done his press conference just now. He said Dubravka, Shah and Shelvey are all fit for this game.
Dubravka, Shah and Shelvey.
Who are on the list there.
Okay. Well, yeah. Well, Dubravka's in the team there, so is Shah, but not Shelvey. But so I expect Shelvey to play. But let's talk about Joe Linton for a second, because you mentioned him there before, and I think ever since he's moved to centre mid, he's looked like a player reborn. Kieran Trippier was talking about on the kickoff, kind of comparing him to Moussa Dembele. Do you see those comparisons?
Not to the extent that Dembele was, but I see the style of play. He's very strong. He's very good at shielding the ball. He's not quite as good as Dembele at wriggling out of situations, and I don't think he has the ball progression that Dembele has, but I do think he has the strength. I think he has the ball retention, and I think obviously as used to being a striker, he probably been a bit more of a goal threat than Moussa Dembele used to be. So I see the comparisons. I think he's like a B-Tech Moussa Dembele at the moment, but you never know how he can develop. As I said before, Dembele used to be a striker before moving back to midfield, but he used to be a bit more of a threat, I feel. Although Joe Linton at Hoffenheim was quite decent up front, wasn't he? So I think he's changing his position, and maybe that's what he needed to do to really find his home in the Premier League. He was really struggling to find his identity because he was used on the wing, he was used up front, wasn't really clicking for him. But now he seems to be in a position where he's at home. Yeah,
and in terms of some other Newcastle players, I think Ryan Fraser's starting to come to light for them as well. I mean, obviously he's got that long-standing relationship with Eddie Howe. Obviously Eddie Howe got a lot out of him at Bournemouth. And he's starting to get a lot out of him now, isn't he?
Yeah, and another player who's taken a while. He was there last season, wasn't he? Ryan Fraser really didn't pull up any trees, and now under a manager who knows him, he started to get goals and assists on a more regular basis, and he's definitely going to be a bit more of a threat. But I'm confident we have the defenders to keep him out. One player I'm more worried about is to go on the other side, who probably will start, and I don't know if he'll start up front or not, but it's Alan Saint-Maximin.
And he's actually been out of the team the last couple of weeks. I think he's been injured. I think he came on in the last game for them, but yeah, I have no doubt he's going to start this game, and he's their main threat, isn't he?
He's one of those players, if he turns it on, he's unstoppable. Yeah. That's the thing. The only thing, it's a bit like Lucas Moura, it's like the only thing stopping him is himself. That's the only thing stopping him, like always playing one on a consistent basis. He's a brilliant player on his day.
It's a bit criminal though that a player of that talent has only got 5 goals and 5 assists this season, because he should be having a lot more, in my opinion, with the talent that he has.
Of course he should, but it doesn't take away that in any given game you can turn it on.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm worried about. He can sometimes he just breezes past you like you're not there and there's nothing you can do about it. A bit like Adama Traore as well. He just has that running ability where he can't be stopped when he's in full flight. And I think he has a bit more end product as well than a player like Adama Traore. And potentially even like Lucas Moura as well. I think he's got a bit more of a better shot. Again, his decision making is lacking. That's probably what keeps him from being an elite player. But he's definitely one where, especially on a counter-attack, he's a massive threat. And if they are going to get a goal or opportunities, he's probably their best source.
Absolutely. Any other players from Newcastle that really worry you coming into this game?
Well, as always with Newcastle, whenever they come, it's their goalkeepers, isn't it? And obviously Martin Dubravka most likely going to be in goal for this one. Karl Darlow had an unbelievable game last time out. We've had the likes of Tim Krul come to our ground as well and have unbelievable games, and I think if Dubravka he's also a very solid keeper. I'm a big fan of Dubravka, and I think ever since he's come to Newcastle, he's done a really good run, done a really good job. And if he plays again tomorrow on Sunday, got to be wary about him having another very good game, because he can be a difficult keeper to beat sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. With the form of the two clubs that are coming in to this game, obviously Spurs on really good form with, what was it? Is it 4 wins in our last 5 league games?
It's 5 and 7.
5 and 7.
It's since City, yeah.
Yeah, since City. So, I mean, we're scoring a lot of goals, as you can see, 12 goals in our last 5 games, not conceding that many in 5 in our last 5. When on the flip side, when you look at Newcastle, they're not scoring that many, but like you said before, it's their defence that is really coming up trumps at the moment. With that kind of 8 or 9 game unbeaten run with Newcastle, they have lost their last 2 games against Chelsea, which they probably should have got more out of. Well, definitely should have got more out of. And Everton, which Everton scored a goal in the last minute with 10 men, where Newcastle were probably the better side, 11 on 11. What do you make out of Newcastle's form? And are they completely safe now?
I think so. I think they're 9 points clear now from the relegation zone. Do they have any games in hand or anything? No, but they're look, if I was a Newcastle fan, I would look at Aston Villa in 9th, and they're only 5 points behind. So they're closer to Villa in 9th than they are to the relegation zones. I'd be looking up and not down if I was a Newcastle fan. I think that they're pretty much safe. The way they're playing as well, even in the losses that they've had, 2 very close games, one against Chelsea, which they probably should have got something out of, and one against Everton, which they probably should have got something out of. So they'll probably feel a bit unlucky that they're on the run of 2 losses in a row. And I think they're a much more solid team now. They're much more difficult to play against. They're not as easy to create chances against. And they're not this like free-flowing, beautiful football team. But what they are is very solid, and they've got a bit of quality to hurt you on the odd occasion where they're in the final third and the occasions where they do get forward. And they're not a fully integrated Eddie Howe team yet, but I think he's working with what he has to the best of his ability, and I think he's doing a great job. And they've become a very, very solid team, and you can see that with their defensive record.
And with the wealth they have, I mean, how quickly do you think they can come into like a top 4 challenging side? Yeah,
that's the thing. I don't think it will happen next season. I think even if they do spend however much they do spend in the summer, I think it's going to take too long for everyone to integrate together and gel and all that kind of stuff. So,
how long did it take Man City to become like a top 4 challenging side?
It took him a couple years.
But I do say, like, the league is very different now.
That's what I'm saying.
What it was then.
That was then, yeah. So now it's a lot more competitive. I think football's just in a different landscape as it was back then. Teams are smarter now. Everyone has a philosophy and a plan. All the teams are trying to develop that. And even the teams in the bottom half are trying to develop that. And it's going to be difficult to close the gap, as more difficult than it was for Man City to do it way back when. And even for them, Man City, they got all that money back in 2008, and it wasn't until 2011 that they got Champions League football, was it? So it's still, even though they signed Robinho and all them lot early on, it still took them a bit of time to get to really start challenging for top 4. So I still think, and they're probably Newcastle probably a bit even further behind than City were back then. Even though City weren't great, they're probably a bit better than Newcastle were now. So
that's because they got that owner before then who pumped a little
Thaksin
bit of money.
Shinawatra.
Yeah,
remember him? Yeah. So I think there will probably
before that owner there probably wasn't too much difference.
No, probably not. I reckon they're probably around a couple of years from challenging top 4. They do things correctly. You know, as we've seen before as well, there are other clubs who've got money and they haven't known what to do with it. You know, I remember QPR got injected with loads of money, and then they spent a lot of it, and they spent it all in the wrong places.
Yeah, but Newcastle do seem to be doing things kind of a bit more cleverly than that.
They seem to be. Yeah, I'm just saying they have to keep doing it in the right way, and if they do, then it could accelerate the process. But I do think they're still a couple of years away if they do things in the right way. They're probably a couple of years from challenging top 4. But for sure, I think European football could be a target for them next season.
Yeah, do you think like maybe next season if they qualify for the Conference League, that'd be a really good season for them?
Yeah, of course it would be. They would love that. Going from relegation to European football, that's an unbelievable turnaround for them. Of course they'll accept that. Even top half, I think they'll accept next season.
Yeah, I think you're right there. But in terms of the game, how are you expecting the game to go? In terms of the Spurs lineup, are you expecting just more of the same?
Yeah, unchanged. I don't think we've had any injuries over the international break. I can't see any changes. Obviously, all the players that got left at home, Reguilon, he got left at home, didn't he? Dyer. Who else
Romero
got left at home? Romero came back early. I think the front three were all away, so they're all going to be obviously definitely in the team. And all the other players that were, I can't envisage any changes happening. Hopefully Bergwijn gets a bit more minutes, seeing how well he did over the international break. But has to be an unchanged team. We're playing very, very well at the moment. And I think, especially against Newcastle, although they're a very, very solid team, we have to go all guns blazing. We have to play as we have been in our home games over the past few weeks. And if we do that, I'm sure we'll create enough chances to win the game. Look, you can never guarantee you'll win any game. But if we create enough chances to win the game, the likelihood is we will. And I think we will.
What's your score prediction?
3-1. I
3-1.
think I know they've been solid Newcastle, but I don't know if they've come up against the quality of Son and Kane in the form they're in. So hopefully, if they turn up and if we win 3-1, we can really put pressure on Arsenal going into their game on Monday night. So I'm going 3-1 Tottenham. I think maybe they'll get a goal through, say, Maximum or Fraser on the breakaway, but I think we'll score enough to win the game.
Yeah, I'm just worried about coming into this game because we know how we kind of deal with teams in low blocks. Sometimes we don't really have an answer. So that's why I think it's so imperative for us to score that early goal on the weekend. And on top of that, you've got the kind of record hovering over us that Newcastle have at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. You have the performance that they have against Chelsea. And I think if they put a carbon copy of that performance in against Chelsea like they at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium this weekend, I do think that we could be in a bit of trouble this weekend. But having said that, I am going to stay confident. I am going to think and believe that we can't get that early goal. And if we do get that early goal, I'm going to go for 2-0 to Spurs with Kane and Son being back at it. And I think Kulu as well gives us just that something extra to think about as well. So we have to go into this game thinking that we can take all 3 points, and we will take all 3 points. But on the flip side of that, whenever we go into games thinking like that, we always come unstuck, don't we? So it is going to be a big game this weekend, and we just need to win. We need to keep plugging away. Let's get. When's the last time we won 3 games in a row this season?
Been a while, yeah. I don't know if we ever did under Conte 3 in a row. I know we won. Maybe we did, but we won because we won
that 9-game unbeaten run. We never went 3 games on.
Because we won 6 and drew 3, so it's possible we didn't. It's possible we didn't. So I think if we would get that 3rd win in a row, then that'll really give us really positive momentum going into just after the international break, going to the last part of the season. And we'll see what Arsenal are made of on Monday night if we do win by 2 or more goals and we're above them. Obviously, they'll only need a draw to go back above us, but hopefully
the pressure will be on them.
Yeah, the pressure will be,
really.
To get the win. Yeah.
All right, well, that is our match preview for the game against Newcastle this weekend. Let me know your score predictions in the comments section below. Let's move on and let's start bringing on some guests to preview the game. And let's start off with Mikey. Is his camera on?
There he is.
How you doing, Mikey? You're on mute.
I shouldn't be.
You're not anymore.
Right,
How you doing?
I don't know what happened there. How are you guys doing?
Yeah, not bad, mate. How are you?
I'm good. Yeah, just happy that club football's back. You know, it's been a long international break, and I'm glad that the club football's back. Sorry, just give me a second.
Oh.
Yeah, really. Just got to put my right. I really enjoyed the form we were in up until the break. So I'm hoping that we can replicate sort of our 2 wins, make it 3 in a row behind before we go into the international break. After coming back from the international break, sorry.
Yeah, look, Newcastle have been in good form of late, although they've lost their last 2. Are you worried about them at all? Are you thinking they come into this game with confidence and worried about them turning up? Or do you think with the quality we have, we shouldn't be worried about that?
I think that we shouldn't be. I don't think we should be worried about them, but I do think that they can pose a threat. They have players like Callum Wilson, like Alan Saint-Maximin, who can really hurt you if you don't mark them properly. So I'm hoping that they can sort of not have a good game, because when they turn it on, they really can hurt you. You know, they're players that have an incredible amount of quality, and they can really sorry, my I'm a little bit frazzled because I only just woke up. Right, let me start again.
So you woke up and straight onto We Are Tottenham TV. First thing before you brush your teeth.
No, I've been up for about half an hour, but yeah. Anyway, let me start again. Newcastle are a team that can really hurt us. They have players with the quality of Alan Saint-Maximin and Callum Wilson, who on their day can really hurt you. But their midfield is where I think we're going to be able to sort of get them, because the balance that Bentancur and Højbjerg have brought to this team is it's made us it's galvanized the team, not revolutionized, but it's galvanized the team. It's got us sort of back to full firing fitness. I'm really proud of the way that Kulu and Bentancur have come in and really set the Premier League alight. You know, Kulu got nominated for Player of the Month. Obviously, Kane won, but Kulu got nominated for Player of the Month in his first month. So I'm quietly confident about that. And we've also had Højbjerg and Bentancur's balance in midfield. So I think if they do go for a 5 at the back system, that means that they'll have to lose one of their further positions further up, such as in midfield or in a front 3. So I think that there's no way that they're not starting Alan Saint-Maximin. He will definitely start. If he's fit, he starts. So he's obviously going to be one of the forward positions. So if they choose to go with a 5 at the back, then it looks like they'll be losing one of their midfielders. So I think Højbjerg and Bentancur will be able to run the show if players like Bruno Guimaraes, who are really rated at Lyon, and John Joe Shelby or Joe Linton, whichever one it is, I think will be able to dominate them in midfield.
Yeah, 100%. Do you envisage Tottenham going completely unchanged on Sunday?
I can't see a reason why we would change. You know, it's clear to me that our back 3 is the strongest we have. Obviously, Davis on the left, Dyer through the centre, and Romero on the right. There's little to no chance. The only thing I can see is possibly if Saint-Maximin starts on his left wing position, do you want him going up against Matt Doherty or Emerson Royale? Because if you look at it, obviously Matt Doherty's been on better form this season. He's probably done more than Emerson did in the first half season in the last 6 games. So,
oh, is he gone? He gone? I think he's gone, frozen. All right, I think you're frozen, Mikey. We'll try and get you back on at some point, but apologies about that. Let's move on. Is anyone else in the back end? Let's try. We'll move on to the next one. But
if you can turn your camera on, Carl. Oh, Mikey's
Mikey,
back.
yes.
Let's go back to Mikey.
sorry, laptop froze.
it's all right.
It's all right. You were mid-flow there, Mikey. You were mid-flow.
Let's go back to Mikey.
Sorry, yeah. So what I was saying is, I thought, what point was I making? I need to remember. Yeah, Emerson and Doherty. I think obviously Doherty's been the more favoured going forward, but I think if Saint-Maximin is a player who can be that good, that I think you need more than one player on him, because him up against Doherty, that's not a fair fight. Saint-Max will win that battle 9 times out of 10. So do you play an Emerson to combat the threat? I don't necessarily think that would be the right thing to do. I still think Doherty should start, but I think Matt Doherty will be forced to conserve his attacking output a bit in order to have those 2, Doherty and Romero, on Saint-Max, because he's obviously key to Newcastle's counter to their attack. He is their key player, so I think neutralizing him will require maybe more thought. And I wouldn't be surprised to see Emerson start, but I would prefer Doherty to start, which I never thought I'd say. But I would prefer Doherty to start. But I think neutralizing Saint-Max is definitely key, because Harry Kane scored the header, but Saint-Maximin sort of, in that first half at least, I remember watching it, and Saint-Max just bullied our defence. He went to town against us, and he was sort of the only Newcastle player. He was dragging them up the pitch. So I'm wary of the threat he provides for them.
All right, Mikey, and what's your score prediction?
I'd say my score prediction. Obviously, they've been a bit of a bogey team at home for 2-1. I think it'll be relatively close to fair. but 2-1, and goal scorers. I think Kane will bag another, and I think it'll be Decky or Kulu to score the other, and I think maybe St Max will score for them, or Joelinton. But I predict a 2-1.
All right. Big up, Mikey. Thanks for coming on today, mate. Have a good weekend.
Nice one, Mikey.
Come on, up the Spurs. I saw Mr. Daigle in the back end. Is he still there? Yes, he is. Yes, he is. So talking about the bold and beautiful, here's Daigle.
There it is. There it is. Good
Brian,
morning,
how's it
boys and
going,
everyone.
man?
It's going very, very well. It's good to see you two boys again. How you doing?
Yeah, all good, my friend. All good for my friend. The feeling is mutual. Big game this weekend. Obviously, Newcastle come to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. And what is it about this Newcastle, not this Newcastle side, but any Newcastle side, we can't seem to beat them at home?
Yeah, I mean, I remember when I first started having my season ticket back in the 94-95 season, and we drew 1-1 with Chris Armstrong and Ginola actually scored against us. They've always seemed to be an issue. The ones that really stick out, I remember that one with, remember when Kyle Walker scored an own goal at United on the first game of the season and went 14 game on running, and then Perez scored and Lloris let it in the last minute, went through his hands.
Yeah.
They always seem to be an issue at home. For some reason, occasionally away, but at home seems to be the real thing. And yeah, I think it's another tough game. I think it's another tough game tomorrow, Sunday.
Yeah, and you know, with the form that Newcastle are in, I know they've lost their last 2 games, but there's a good feeling about that place at the moment. But equally, there's a good feeling around Tottenham at the moment with the form that we're in, scoring a lot of goals. So are you worried coming into this game at all, or are you confident that we're going to go and get the win this weekend?
I've been with this all week. All week I've been saying a draw, and I've been saying it just based on their history with us. And when you got to remember, these games have always come at a pivotal moment. You know, I don't know how Newcastle do it, but whenever. But as the week gets on, I'm getting a bit more confident. Obviously, Romero not playing at all and being fit is huge, because his injury record coming back from Argentina has been woeful. I think he's always picked up an injury every time he's come back. And that's massive. And then obviously, I think have we had any news on Decky's cheekbone injury?
Well, look, he played the next game, so I'm sure he's fine.
Did he have a face mask on or anything, Sim? Or was
no, he didn't.
Okay, so even better. So that would have been, I'd say, the biggest concern. So if it's a full team out, you've got to think we've got enough to get it done. You've got to hope we've got enough. We have to get it done.
Definitely. And who from Newcastle do you think could be big threats going into this game? Who do you look out and think I'm worried about that guy?
The one I said about it, and it's going to be one out of the blue, and it's because Eddie Howe mentioned him a few weeks ago, and he's played with him before. Obviously, didn't end well at Bournemouth, but it's Ryan Fraser. Ryan Fraser is a guy that's got a very, very good delivery, and he's one of those midfielders that will put in all that he'll run non-stop. He really does put a shift in, and that's what I think Newcastle have been doing. Not only have they bought these players, but they're working so much better and cohesively as a team. And I think he's a component of it. Obviously, to maximum is a huge issue for any team if he's on his day. Maybe that's a place that they will capitalise. But so yeah, I've gone from 1 to 3. So yeah, those 3. But you know, we, if you look at it on paper, we should have enough. We should have enough, shouldn't we, boys?
Yeah, we should. But, you know, we've very rarely won 3 games in a row this season. And if we do win this game, it is 3 games in a row. And obviously this big top 4 race, if we do win by 2 goals, we go into the top 4 for the first time in a while. If we do win by 2 goals and get into that top 4, how much pressure does it put on Arsenal for their game on Monday night?
It puts on a load. And as I say, how ironic is it? Like, these games come up for us, and then Newcastle have to play Arsenal have to play Patrick Vieira.
Yeah.
It's funny how these games kind of, and I even said when we were on your show last Friday that I think Arsenal are going to get a draw there as well. I really think Crystal Palace, their record at Palace isn't the best either.
Yeah.
And I don't think they're going to get 3 points there. I actually think they're going to get a draw. So I think this is the first time in a long time where we've actually been the first game. We've got to talk about getting the North London derby ticket back to you. which we'll sort out. But yeah, with that game being penciled in now, we've got to set the agenda, and we've really got to make sure we get 3 points.
And what is your feeling, your general feeling on the top four now? Because when we last spoke a couple of weeks ago, or maybe it was longer than that, on the top four, you weren't that confident that we're going to get it. You still feeling the same way?
I've put it down to this. This is how I'm looking at it now. If it does become the top four winner takes all, like we had with Man City a few years ago, or a good few years ago now, I think we'll do it. I think if it comes down to that game, we'll do it, and what a game to do it. If it's not, and it goes over the 9 games, I'm still a little bit dubious. I'm a little bit more confident than I was, but I think just maybe a little bit short. But if it comes down to winner takes all at White Hart Lane against the Filth, then we're doing it.
Absolutely. Score prediction, you said, what did you say, 1-1, did you say?
So my heart's been saying 1-1. Or so I say my head's been saying 1-1. My heart is going 2-1. And I'm now starting to lean more towards my heart than my head. I put it this way: I think it quite possibly will draw, but it wouldn't surprise us any kind of performance we get out. But do I go with my heart? Right, let's go with my heart. Let's go 2-1 Tottenham. Let's go 2-1 Tottenham.
Brilliant.
And Kane for a double. Kane for a double, so Bob can win his bet, because Superman put his bet on for whilst he was still in hospital on a fiver at 22-1 that Kane's going to get the golden boot. So, mate, do you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if he does it.
I mean, it depends. I mean, you need Salah to slow down a little bit if Kane's going to get it. I mean, Salah's that far ahead of him, isn't he?
How many is actually ahead of him right now?
I think Salah is on 20, I think, and Kane's on 13 or 12 or something.
He can get 2 hat-tricks in a game, and then it's pretty much done.
2 hat-tricks in a game. Easy.
Get a brace there, and he'll just about do it.
Back to back. I mean, we all remember. I know it's a lot more goals. It's 6 rather than 2. But when he was chasing Romelu Lukaku that season, we came second. He was 2 goals behind with 2 games to go, and then he scored 7 in 2 games.
Yeah.
So you can't rule him out of doing it with 9 games to go. So
these
Liverpool
days he's more likely to get 3 goals and 3 assists instead of the 7 and 2. You know what I mean?
That's a good point.
The problem is Liverpool got Watford at home this weekend, and Salah gets a hat trick this weekend. It extends it even further.
Well, the way you look at it as well, Ben, they're still going for the quadruple, so it might even come with their 5 forwards. That's right, that 5 forwards that we could only dream of. They could rotate.
Yeah,
they could rotate, and there could be games where he's like, right, he's not playing. Let's get my scoring boots on. I wouldn't be surprised. But let's just get over the first hurdle first and hope for a win against. Let's hope for a win against Newcastle on Sunday.
We got a super chat here from George, George Yu. He's been a member for 3 months. A big up, George. And he says 3-1 to Tottenham. Come on, you Spurs. So he's going for the same prediction as Sim.
There you go. Sim, okay, so what's your spend? What are you going for?
I went 2-0.
Okay, and you're both going for Kane hat-trick and Kane 2, yeah? To get
Kane
this
at least 1, yeah.
Yeah, Kane hat-trick and a 2-0 win, yeah.
No, look, he could probably do that. He could probably do that. But yeah, guys, it's always great to have you on. It's good to see you back.
It's great to be on your show, Brian.
Mate, it's always a pleasure to spend time with you guys, as you know, and I will be booking my ticket within the next couple of weeks. The arrival date is June the 9th.
Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Just a few days after my birthday.
There you go. And like I said, your wedding and mine and Ilana's 8th anniversary of my birthday on the same day. It's going to be an epic June.
It is going to be an epic June, that's for sure. But Brian, thanks for coming on, my friend. Hopefully I'll see you on Saturday night. I think I'm going to be on Bob's stream in the wall, so everyone tune in for that.
You will definitely see me on Saturday night, mate. And let me just get my Shabbat Shalom to you. Just get my finger exercises in. There we go. And as always, Levy out. Later,
love it. See you, Brian.
Brian, always great to get the Daigle on. Let's move on and let's go for KPV. Kyle, how's it going, mate?
Good. I'm good.
Yeah, you.
Glad to hear it, Carl.
You feeling good for the game this weekend? You confident that we're going to take 3 points off the Magpies?
Of course. Like, I can't stand these lot. I don't know, like, Joe Linton always seems to have a turn up against us. Like, yeah, like, he always seems to have a good game against us. But at least there's no Callum Wilson because he's the one that actually saved them a point at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium last season. And, like, how's, how's that handball by Eric Dyer? It touched his shoulder.
Was it
Like,
Callum
at
Wilson or
least,
was it the referee?
what, in the game last season at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium before the West Ham one?
Yeah.
Um, I think it was the referee that went to look at the monitor and decided to point to the penalty spot, but a load of bollocks. But the handball was changed, so good. But let's hope we can smash these lot, then roll on the next one. But if we win, we go above the scum anyway, so that puts things into perspective. But yeah, like I expect Kulu to go on a score sheet again, but yeah, and Kane and Son. But the last time we beat these lot at home was actually in 2019, not at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. It was at Wembley when we had Poch, and I believe we won what 1-0 when Son
1-0,
scored the
yeah.
only goal.
Yeah, that's
Son,
right.
yeah, Son got the only goal. So, but as always, we're still going to smash these lot. Then, apparently, from what I've been told, the North London Derby is going to be on the 9th of May, which is a Monday. So,
No, it's going to be the week of the 9th of May.
well, that's still on a Monday. So, yours truly is going. I'm going.
You're going to the North London Derby. You got your ticket?
I'm waiting for my carer Paul, who you met, is going to sort that out. And how was Dublin? Because I messaged you on Instagram. You haven't replied back, you little sod.
Sorry about that,
Too
Carl.
busy drinking, Carl. Apologies.
Were you in Dublin?
Yeah, and how was Dublin anyway? I believe you saw Dave Harris.
Yeah, we saw Dave Harris and we also saw Adam William Cahill as well.
Adam William Cahill, like, and yeah, I watched Dave Harris' stream yesterday. Him and Alex were having a little argument about Bergwijn, but don't get Alex on your stream, Alex THFC, because he's a bit of a weirdo. But we're still gonna smack these lot.
Alex is a top bloke, absolutely top bloke.
Yeah,
but
he was aggressive yesterday. Like, he doesn't agree on anything, but after what he did, I don't. But who cares? But I've got some sad news to break to you two.
what's that?
Tom Parker from The Wanted has unfortunately passed away.
Yeah, I heard that yesterday. That's very sad news. Very sad news.
Well, yeah, like, he's gone. But Brian Daigle commented on my post on Facebook, so shout out to Brian and shout out to Grandpa. I hope you're doing well, my friend, and hopefully I'll see you soon. But
See you
yeah,
soon.
we're gonna
Bye.
smash these, and we're gonna smash these lot, and then yeah, like, I'm not giving up top four. I don't care what anyone says, but we're back in the race, and like, Liverpool still have to play City next week, so like, I'll be watching the. But
So what do you think about the title, Kyle? Is that what... Liverpool play City next week? Time to catch up points on both of them. That's what I'm thinking.
I know you're saying that, but like, yeah, how many goals is Salah ahead of Kane again?
One, I think it is.
Salah ahead of
Wait.
Kane.
Oh, Salah. I thought you said Son.
Salah.
Salah
Golden
is on.
Boot.
Salah's on 20 and Kane's on about 12 or 13. I can't remember which one.
Like, but yeah, Salah needs to slow down a bit. But yeah, but like, are you guys watching the World Cup draw later today? Yes.
Oh, yeah. It's,
We will be
soon.
indeed. I
Yeah.
think it's at 3 o'clock. Is it?
No, it's at 4:45. I heard. So,
Okay.
but we're number one seed. So I don't want Belgium again. But I still can't get my head around Bell's free kick. I've just been watching it. Did you see it?
Yeah, it was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
I'd bring him back, but I don't care. But I'll bring him back. Levy, get your checkbook out. and bring this guy back. Bring him back, or else I'm going to be having a little word, mate. And you better invite me to your wedding, Ben, because you've seen me already. So you better invite me, mate.
Big up, Carl. Thanks for coming
Big
on
up,
today,
mate.
my friend, and we'll speak to you soon.
Yeah, I'll see you Sunday. You going to the game?
I'm going to the game, yeah.
Oh, so I'll see Sim on Sunday.
All right,
Enjoy
big up,
the
Carl.
game.
Cheers, mate.
And as always, Levy out.
All right, big up, Carl. Big up, Carl. And we've got
Mikel Arteta has won Manager of the Month.
Arteta.
Yeah.
Shut up.
Yeah, he won it.
Fair enough. Whatever floats their boat. What can you do? But look, we've got a big guest coming on next, shaking his head already. What's he shaking his head at? Let's bring him on and see what he's shaking his head at. Big up to Bob.
Come on, Bob.
TV. Come on,
Big
Bob.
up, Bob.
Piss off, Bob. How are we doing today?
Fucking Arteta. What the hell, man? I was so looking for. I was sitting here ready, then I realised I had my dressing gown on, and I'm not at a point where I can rock a morning look right now. So yeah, big up, guys. Big up, guys.
How you doing, Bob?
Yeah, good, mate. Slowly getting back to a bit of normality. I managed to walk around the flat without the hospital Zimmer frame today, so absolutely chuffed.
Absolutely
And I'm seeing my kids who live in Nottingham first time in 5 months tomorrow. Wow. Can't wait, mate. Can't wait.
Very happy for you, Bob.
It's going to be amazing. It's going to be amazing.
Very happy for you, man. And great to see you back on stream and great to see you back in the call-ins. Always great to have you back, man. And good to see you looking well as well.
Yeah, just a bit of normality, Sim. You know what I mean? It was there was a part of me that thought, you know, I'll wait till I'm back to full fitness and then come on stream and get rid of these little scars I've got. But I thought part of my normal life prior to December was chatting to you guys and chatting to the YouTube community. And I thought the sooner I'm back into that, it will help me not only physically, because obviously I need to sit in a position for, well, fucking hell, Saturday was like 3.5 hours, but mentally as well. So, like I said to Ben, you know, the Saturday stream wasn't about the quality or anything else. It was the fact that I was in a position where I could stream again and bring that bit of normality into life. And yeah, it's I had some amazing feedback, and the stream itself was a bit of a shit show, but I didn't care. It was so random, but yeah, I loved it. It was absolutely brilliant.
I loved watching it, Bob. I thought it was a really good stream, and I watched it all back yesterday, and literally I was watching it for about 3 hours. It was just on, and I thought it was brilliant. I really did, and I can't wait to take part this weekend. I really can't.
Yeah, thank you, mate. It's an absolute honour, and send me if you're free as well, mate. Try and try and jump. Yeah, it'd be absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. We are talking random shit again, but yeah, that would be great. But this Sunday, it's all about us. It's all about us, and first of all, Alex isn't a weirdo, but that's a different conversation altogether. It's all about us. The momentum is with us. The whole win-loss is a narrative that is fashionable. A lot of people are looking at. But you look at the league performance, I think, Sim, you mentioned it, 5 wins in 7. Any Premier League team would love that form. 5 wins in 7. We're winning, but we're not only winning, we're winning well as well. You know, we've got to remember only a few weeks ago, we were in minus with our goal difference, and we're hitting 5s, 4s, and 3s. The momentum is with us. Yes, Newcastle are a bit of our bogey team, especially at home. But I think what Conte's trying to do is bring that winning mentality, seep that winning mentality into the team. And I think slowly but surely he will do that once he gets his own players. If he gets his own players, I think he'll do that. But I think we as a fan base need to integrate into that as well. And I keep on saying I'll be absolutely gutted if we don't get top 4 now. I said that back in October and I got pelters. I'll be absolutely gutted. I expect us with Conte, Sammy, Kane, Romero, Hugo, Decky the way he's playing, Bentancur the way he's fitted in, Højbjerg coming into form, Dyer playing well, a good solid back 3. I expect us to get top 4. And I think every Spurs fan should expect us to get top 4 as well, because Conte's expecting it. Conte's expecting it from his players. And I think as fan base, we should be following suit. We need to do that.
Don't tell that to Stell.
Oh, Still can fuck off, mate. No. In fact, if you did see the show on Saturday, he got convinced. He was like, you know what? Bob's come back from the dead. Anything's possible. Yeah, top four's on. So yeah,
And looking at the fixture list, Bob, it's there for us to do it.
Exactly, and I keep on saying, before we play Arsenal, if they're going to lose, we don't know. But there is at least two defeats in Arsenal before they come to us. They've not beaten a top 5 team this season, and they're playing Man United. Might not be top 5, but they've still got to play the likes of West Ham, Man United. We know who they've got to play. That's before coming to us. I reckon there's 2 defeats in Arsenal before they come to us, and that's going to be 3. Have we got 2 defeats in us? On paper, no. And we know what Spurs are like. 21 years under ENIC or 40 years supporting Spurs will tell us not to get our hopes up high. But I think with Conte in place now, we need to be in that position where we need to kick on as a fan base as well and believe, just the way Conte is.
Yeah, absolutely. And, Harry Kane winning Player of the Month.
Yeah.
Mikel Arteta winning Manager of the Month. And we've got this super chat here from Brian Daigle. Member for 19 months, Mr. Brian Daigle.
19 months.
Go on, Daigle.
He says, so happy Arteta has won Manager of the Month. Hopefully the jinx of that award strikes again.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Superman, on your next steps. Love you, bro.
Love you, Daigle.
But what do you think about his comments about Arteta and Manager of the Month? Do you think the strike is gonna hit again this weekend?
It should do. I mean, it's Palace, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, Palace. I think Wolves F1 made a comment earlier in the comments saying, all this stuff about Vieira's going to take it easy against Arsenal. It's not Vieira. It's the players. It's a London derby. They're playing well. They've got a cup semi-final coming up. Players are going to be wanting to play for their places. Palace will give Arsenal a game. Listen, Arsenal might win. It's the Chelsea game, Man United games, the West Ham games that they could and should come a cropper because they are struggling against top 5 teams. So I think I personally think they'll draw on Sunday. But again, like I keep on saying, it's down to us. We need to be in a position where we take advantage. We can take advantage. Momentum's with us. We've got good players playing in form, and we've got a world-class manager. And as a personal thing, positive energy can get you anything. And as a fan base, if we've got that positive energy, the positive vibe, we'll get top 4. And we should be expecting to get top 4 now. We should be expecting.
Looking on the game on Sunday, Newcastle coming to Tottenham in good form. What do you think of them as a team right now?
Eddie Howe's there to do that Mark Hughes role, isn't he? When Mark Hughes went to Man City, steady the ship. Eddie Howe knows that he's there. He's literally a steady Eddie. He's going to steady the ship, bring a few players in. They'll do a Robinho signing this summer. It could be a Daigle or whatever, and then Eddie will give the reins on. Right now, they've lost 2 in a row. They had a good run. They're out of danger. But again, on paper, we should be beating this team. Yeah, history will suggest that we struggle against them, and we do struggle against them, mostly out of luck. But like I keep on saying, Joe Linton's always turns up for 2 games a season against us. The goalkeeper will have a worldie as usual. But now, man, the way we're playing, the way Sonny and Kane are playing, there's no reason. There always is a reason, but there's no reason we shouldn't be beating them. And I'm on a bit of a roll. I said 2-0 against Brighton, 2-0. I said 3-1 against West Ham, 3-1, and it will be 3-1 against Newcastle as well.
Well, you put a $5 on Harry Kane to be in the Golden Boot. You still believe that's going to happen?
I'm telling you, Salah's gone, mate. Honestly, he's gone. That miss is going to ruin him. And I keep on saying he's so lucky he's playing in a team that creates 4 or 5 chances for him per game. Trent's out. He's not going to be getting that. I don't know if he's back yet, but if Trent's missing, he's not going to get the service that he normally gets. And he does miss chances. He's not as clinical as Harry Kane. Harry Kane will finish top goal scorer, and I should have put more than a fucking fiver on.
Big up, Bob. Always good to see you, my friend.
Big up.
See you again on Saturday night. Everyone go and subscribe to Bob Spur TV, and everyone tune in to In the Wall on Saturday night.
Brilliant. And big up the NHS. Big up.
Big up the
to him,
NHS.
massive,
Come on,
massive
Bob.
big up.
Great to see you. We'll see you soon, Bob.
Love the positive energy from Bob.
Absolutely.
love
And
it.
another person who loves the positive energy from Bob is George with the super chat, who says, great positivity from Bob. Class act. Come on, you Spurs. And we've got another super chat from Sebastian Finn, who says, should Skip be back in the team when he's back? What do you say to that?
No, I don't think he should come straight back in the team, but I do think he'll definitely get a lot of time. Alistair Gold saying 2 weeks now.
Yeah.
From till Skip's back fit. So, and apparently, according to Charlie Eccleshare, a lot of people are very excited about a potential Skip and Bentancur double pivot.
I would love to see that. I
Around
mean,
the club.
when Bentancur first came in, and that's what I was the most excited about. But
Have they played together yet, Skip and Bentancur?
I don't think so. I don't think so. No, I don't think
remember.
they have.
Because
But-
Bentancur's debut was Southampton, wasn't it? I don't think, Skip was already out by then, wasn't he?
Yeah, but that's what I was most excited for. But the emergence of Højbjerg has kind of like solidified their spots in the team at the moment.
Yeah, I think they're playing too well at the moment to drop them. But yeah, for
agree.
sure, Skip will definitely get his way back in the team. I'm sure of it.
All right, so that is the match preview stream for the Newcastle game this weekend. A lot of positive Spurs fans coming into the game. Let's hope for 3 points. We'll see you all again very soon. Antonio Conte's press conference is coming your way. Predicted lineup will be out tomorrow. And then the watch along on Sunday will be with Sim and Henry Wright. So big up, everyone. I'll be in the stadium grabbing all the content from inside there, hopefully sending in a lot of videos for a lot of goals for Spurs. But that is it from us today. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, come on, you Spurs.